Welcome into this Monday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this afternoon, just after 12:30, as we are hitting the button today. Neal has G-Pits, I assume, here in about 90 minutes. So MPW Digital.
That's correct.
Family of podcasts coming your way today. We'll obviously talk a good bit of baseball. Ole Miss dropping 2 out of 3 in Starkville for Super Bulldog weekend, losing on Friday, and in a little more interesting way on Sunday, Doug Nikhazy dominated the Bulldogs on Saturday with a one-hit complete game shutout. So we'll discuss all that and more coming up on the podcast, brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Go by the Blue Sky location. Get a lunch special, $5.69 for 2 sides, bread, 32-ounce drink. And while you're there, sign up for the Speed Pass Plus app. When you get that, you download it. You earn points, and when you earn points, you save money there with all Blue Sky locations in Mississippi. You also stop in check out the hot case, pork, chicken, side items, dessert, and more. And there in Oxford. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900's that number. Call it, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. And the rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today. You'll love the product. You'll love the service. Everything about Clark Ford. My family, we're stock full of Clark Fords these days. So I promise you we're putting our money where our mouth is. So 662-257-1900, and you can do the same thing. Guest will join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Should be a really fun place this weekend if you're coming up for baseball, for the spring game, just hanging out in Oxford over the course of a weekend. Make sure you stop at Rafters and tell them how much you appreciate them being a part of the Oxford Exxon Podcast throughout the pandemic, and now to the place where just about every day feels like a football Friday. Here in Oxford. So enjoy their great burgers, po' boys, appetizers, everything. Full beer selection, great full bar, the whole deal there at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford and also in New Albany. Oh, and by the way, people have been asking, Rafters on the Water opening very soon.
Grateful Reb. Yeah, this might be the best day of the year to date from a weather standpoint. I mean, it is a perfect temperature. The wind is pretty dead today. It's pretty Chamber of Commerce today. Here locally, I kind of got out. I was like, "Whoa, this is nice."
You done your run yet?
I think I got one more day.
I'm
still kind of. I think my voice will be fine, but I'm still feeling some after lingering effects. It's all been kind of coming out the last 36 hours from whatever congestion.
Monday's my hardest run day because it's the day after the really long run, and it's a.
Why don't you take a day off?
Because the program calls for me to do it today.
Are you doing Higdon?
No, I'm doing I don't even know what it's called.
It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
In fact, I've got to go in and update it so I can get my new plan for the day. But the plan's been the same pretty much for a few weeks now. It's where you run 2 minutes, like at a pretty good clip, and then you slow down and
like a 4:05 pace for now.
Well, yeah. Then you get a 5-minute walk, ramp up to jog, ramp up to run, 2 minutes back down. Walk.
Intervals.
Yeah, and anyway, on days like today when the weather's really nice. The walking's hard to make yourself stop doing because it's just kind of nice just to walk.
Just stroll.
Yeah, and so you just kind of like, hey, what about if I just walk for 35 minutes? How about that?
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't have a ton of introduction. The weekend, it occupied a lot of Ole Miss people yesterday we'll start with Sunday and we'll move backwards, I guess, is probably where you guys would like for us to do this. I didn't go back and look. The game thread yesterday might have had more views and posts than some football games in the fall. It was a lot of gnashing of teeth in a positive and a negative way as the game went because, it kind of took the sixth inning, took what should have been a story about Drew McDaniel and Hayden Leatherwood out of play, and that became secondary, something that we'll touch on RumbleGrove.com as the week moves on. Because, Ole Miss gets one hell of a start from Drew McDaniel yesterday, especially for a Sunday, 5.1 innings, 2 runs. He has 3 starts now on the weekends and on the year, and he's been phenomenal in all of them. I mean, he was really good against Auburn. He allowed maybe 2 runs in 5 innings then, too. I think he threw 5 shutout, maybe against ULM. I could have those backwards, but either way. And then the 5.1, 91 pitches, a career high for him against Mississippi State there on Sunday.
He was really good.
And he settled himself. Huge environment, huge crowd. Second inning was a little shaky, and he came out of it. He settled down, he got out, and moved on.
He had the walk to lead off the second that came back to haunt him. But other than that, I mean, he gave up the home run ball, but, it was
that
good.
happens.
It wasn't just an awful pitch. It was a good piece of hitting. And, other than that, he was great. You got to give – I mean, like you and I were talking this morning, if you tell coaching staff before the game, you're going to get 5 1/3 out of Drew, and you're only going to give up 2 runs.
Done.
Yeah, you take that.
Yeah, that's on the offense at that point.
He was real efficient, and he left with the 4-2 lead. And so if you'd said, hey, here's going to be the scenario for Drew McDaniel, the in the 6th inning he's going to leave with 1 out and nobody on, you're going to have a 4-2 lead. I mean, you're going to have grins in that room like, oh, wow, we're in great shape, and they were.
So to set this up, Gunnar Hoagland went 7 innings on Friday night. He was good.
Yeah.
Wasn't great. He was good. He was very good. He was plenty good enough to win a game. Ole Miss didn't win it.
I thought you nailed it on Friday night, just to be real quick.
Yeah.
It was a typical Friday night SEC game. Both teams had a couple of shots to put runs in, and State took advantage of theirs. Ole Miss had a couple of bad at-bats in key spots, and State won the game. I didn't think Friday was this catastrophic event. I thought
they just lost
Friday.
The baseball game.
Yes. I know it's a rivalry and people get into the numbers and all that stuff, but I thought for the most part it was just a Friday.
So Doug throws a complete game, 1-hitter on Saturday, and we'll get into that in a minute. I don't want to bury the lead. But point being, when they get done with Drew McDaniel with 1 out in the 6th inning on Sunday, Gunnar Hoagland had pitched 7, Derek Diamond had pitched 1, Doug Nikhazy had pitched 9, and Drew McDaniel had pitched 5.1. That was it. The entire bullpen was rested at that point. And I'm not as new school as some people. I'm not a huge fan of openers. I'm not going crazy out here on the sabermetrics thing. But I thought it was very obvious to me. I wrote about it on Friday. The preview on Friday was Ole Miss has to find bullpen help. They got to figure out how to get to Taylor Broadway. And when Broadway had not pitched in a week, and Broadway has a 4-inning save in his arsenal from this season, he did it in week 1 against TCU. It made all the sense in the world to me to go to Broadway right then.
Yep.
Ole Miss would have still had a bullpen problem, but it could have been tomorrow's bullpen problem. You get the win and you move on and you figure it out. Because here's the thing. Ole Miss, because I was reading through Twitter a little bit, which I shouldn't do, but I did.
What, Twitter?
Yeah, it's this little bird crazy thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So Nick Suss was arguing basically that was irrelevant because Ole Miss has bullpen problems. It's like, well, yes, Ole Miss has bullpen problems, but it's not irrelevant today. Today, everything was set up perfectly to avoid that problem. Yes, Ole Miss has to find bullpen help. That is the story moving forward of the season, bar none, nothing else. Well, defense too, but that as well.
I got another question.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
Go ahead.
It would have been so easy to go to Broadway there because if you go to Broadway there, a couple things happen. If they hit him, then they hit your best guy and shit happens. It just is what it is. Okay, tip your cap, move on with the day.
Yeah.
But he either gets 11 outs. If he gets 11 outs, you win the baseball game. If he can only get 8 outs and has done it well, what you've done is given your chance to extend the lead. You worry about later, as I wrote, and you also keep Landon Sims off the field because he's not in a save situation, and State's not going to go to Sims down 2 runs. So you've given your offense the best chance. You've given you the best chance to extend the lead as far as from a timing standpoint, an inning standpoint, and then you just worry about the 9th inning if he can't finish it at that point. Mike was never going to do that. He did not want to use Taylor in the 6th inning. He admitted on the postgame radio show last night, we have not had a chance to talk to Mike at this point. State's Carnegie Hall of Baseball does not have a Wi-Fi system that would work in the visitors' side of the field. It's a gorgeous park. I'm making fun.
It is a beautiful park, but you would like for it to be a little more serviceable.
Come on.
Yeah.
Between that and all the turf around the plate. But anyway, so we haven't talked to Mike, but he basically said that, yes, he was trying to bridge until the 7th inning. So then you come to because, look, we can argue this point, but if he was just trying to bridge the 7th inning, it's wasting our breath to argue he should have just put him into the 6th. I think we all agree he should have, but if that's not the way he coaches, then, okay, we've got to figure out from there what's next. So I haven't asked him, so I don't know what the reason was.
But it's a remarkably – I know we're going to go there, but it's a remarkably stubborn thing at this point because I was I was watching on a treadmill, listening to the SEC network. Plus, I don't know who was doing the announcing. I thought they were fine.
It was the state guys. Was it Bart Gregory?
Yeah, I thought they were good. It was fine. It was informative. It was fine. Whatever. I really wasn't paying a lot of attention. I was thinking along.
Sure.
To their credit, they opened it up. They had a big crowd there. It was electric, and they were looking for reasons to cheer. Okay, fair? Leatherwood hits the home run. And some of the air got out of the building.
It was silent.
Yeah. And you run McDaniel back out. He gets the second pitch out, I think second pitch.
Yeah,
little kind of can of corn to left field.
Yeah, little flare. It was fine.
At this moment in time, right, snapshot. At this snapshot in time, now's the time, okay, go for the jugular.
Keep them down.
Go get them right now because the air's out. You're hitting them a little bit.
Yeah.
Your offense has some momentum.
Because Ole Miss added a run in the 8th. I mean,
yeah, you're doing some things. This is a place where right now,
step on their throat.
Go get the jugular. They're wounded. Go kill. I mean, frankly. And then if I'm with you completely. If you get to the 9th, and say you get to the 9th and you're up, what was the score when he left? It was 4-2.
Yeah.
So now let's call it 6-2, just for kicks and giggles. And he gets into the 9th, and there's nothing left. Okay, well, now you got 3 outs.
Yeah, now you have a 4-run lead with 3 outs. You just figure it out.
You have a different problem, but it's a better problem.
Yeah.
Because instead, you do what you do, they get the momentum, the place is rocking again, and they go to the – there's so many reasons to go for the throat right there where I thought from an – and you know the team a lot better than I do. Like, I was like, hey, why not just stay with McDaniel? And the answer is because he was done. Analytically, they looked at his numbers and he was done.
Yeah.
But why not go for the throat right there? I thought that was a little bit of an adherence to an old school mentality that
there's certainly an old school mentality to it. No, I don't think that can be debatable. I don't think Mike could argue that. He was determined to try to find 2 outs somewhere else to get to Broadway to finish the game. It never crossed Mike's mind, hey, use him, and if he can't finish, then you figure it out from there. In his mind, he had an amount of time he thought Broadway could go, and he had to find some way to get to that point. I mean, it's the way he manages. Again, we can argue that, but that's irrelevant at the moment. So I was looking through some stats last night, and some of them are incredibly eye-opening. Ole Miss only has one reliever who has an ERA under 4-something, or maybe 5-something, in SEC play out of the bullpen.
Broadway.
Broadway and Burton. I was taking Broadway out of the equation.
Gotcha.
Wes Burton is the only one. Colin Brister came up with the stat last night, so credit to him. I used it, and I told him I was taking it. When in SEC play, when anyone but Doug Nikhazy, Gunnar Hoagland, or Drew McDaniel was pitching for Ole Miss, so the entire bullpen, 10.23 ERA, 2.14 WHIP, 350 batting average against, 590 slugging against, and 1021 OPS against. Slow pitch softball numbers there for the Ole Miss bullpen in league play. When looking at the numbers, I think I know what Mike was doing. I don't know this. We'll talk to him at some point this week, I guess after the Little Rock game tomorrow night. And I got a feeling this is still going to be something because we haven't talked to him yet about it.
Sure.
I mean, because they beat Little Rock 12-3. Who cares? Looking at it, he went to the 2 guys, and this is always Mike's thing, especially after last week. I mean, I'm trying to provide as much context here on what I think Mike was taking. I know it's kind of going around and around, but Ole Miss walked 17 dudes against Arkansas last Sunday. They hit 2 more, 19 free passes. Mike was pissed. If anything, we're going to throw strikes. That was his thing over and over and over again was, by God, we're going to throw strikes.
Because if you score 14 runs, you should win a game.
Yes, there's no doubt. So when looking at the stats, and I went through Josh Mallett's SEC games, and he hasn't been great, but early in the appearances, he's been okay. He struck out a couple against Florida. He got a fielder's choice. Everybody got blocked against Arkansas or whatever, making him that final game. But he's been okay. But I think this is why Mike did it. It was the bottom of the order. Frankly, they hadn't hit anybody to that point because State's not real good on the bottom of the order, a lot like Ole Miss at times.
Well, and one of the stats that Gregory and them pointed out, at some point, mid part of the third game for the weekend, the bottom of the order, I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 2 for 40 or something. It was an incredibly bad number.
Mallets doesn't walk anybody. Yeah. 7 walks in 22.2 innings to this point. And he obviously didn't get an out yesterday, so that's one more appearance even.
Right.
He doesn't walk anybody. So in Mike's head, it's put in the guy that throws strikes, throws a couple different pitches for strikes, has some strikeout potential, even though he has gotten hit very hard this season. I mean, he has. And hope that they hit some balls at him, you get through the bottom of the order, and you go to Broadway in the next inning. He goes to Austin Miller next. I'm looking at Austin Miller's numbers. 7 walks, 15.1 innings. Okay, same kind of deal. Compared to other guys that he might put in. Like, I think Wes Burton deserves an opportunity because his ERA is 2.16. At some point, that's the goal, is to not allow earned runs.
What's his whip?
That's 1.32. Okay, not great.
Right.
Mallett's whip is 1.63. Miller's whip is 1.24.
Okay.
So all right there kind of, and this is overall, this is not SEC games. But Wes has walked 7 and 8.1 innings. So almost a walk per inning.
So you run the real risk there. You put him in.
He walks somebody, and then somebody does get a hit.
The moment's big, and yeah.
Yeah. Forsyth, another option that we've talked about. 7 walks and 8 innings. A walk an inning. So I think what Mike was doing was just putting someone in who would throw strikes, and you hope he doesn't get banged around the ballpark. You know, and what kind of sucks for Josh Mallett's here, and who I think is going to be pretty good, is he threw 3 ground balls. Now that's not pulling Mike out of the fire. That's
they
not
were
the
hit
point.
hard.
They were
hit hard. I mean, I'd love to know what the exit velo on those were.
And I have no idea.
Yeah, the ball got hit.
Yeah, he did. There's no doubt.
And then here's another part of this that you have to factor in, and this might just be where they don't have the pieces, right? Is defensively, I think it's time to call a spade a spade.
Mm-hmm.
They're not very good defensively. I mean, I could literally pick them apart. Their outfield defense, no one can throw. At first base, they're right now the first baseman's a statue. The second baseman's pretty good. Shortstop is a third baseman, and the third baseman's hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Playing through a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Courageously, but regardless.
When he's also their best center fielder and their best shortstop.
You're just really limited defensively. So what you needed in this situation was somebody who could come in and pump some gas, get some Ks.
Well, because, look, here's the thing, too. If I'm going to use those two guys, let's say I'm determined that, okay, I'm going to use Mallett's or Miller, and then if something goes wrong, I'm going to use the other one before I go to Broadway. Because I thought Mike did himself a disservice, and it was out of, necessity at that point, but going to Broadway anyway in the 6th inning. Well, either he can or he can't. Like, there was a weird part of that, too, when you get one more out and suddenly they go to him. But
that's my fault.
Yeah.
If you're willing to go to him there, why were you not willing to go to him 2 hitters earlier?
But my point is, even if you're using Mallett's and Miller, okay?
Right.
Well, Miller throws 85, 86 miles an hour with a fastball, and he throws tons of curveballs. He's pitching backwards. Mallett's has multiple pitches and does have to swing and miss to him. Well, Miller would make more – if those are even, and we're fine using either one of them, Miller makes more sense with nobody on base, and then Mallett's would make more sense once people gets on base to throw strikes and maybe get a punch out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they actually are even reverse on how in my head you would play that at that point. So, look, it backfired. Ole Miss has a tremendous bullpen issue from this standpoint, too. I mean, they've never missed Max Chofie more. You thought the bullpen was going to be a huge benefit to Ole Miss this season, frankly, because somebody mentions it in the stream. This is 3 bullpen arms that they got back. They weren't even supposed to have back this season. They got them back with 50-year seniors because of the pandemic. Taylor Broadway, Austin Miller, and Tyler Myers. All 3. Well, Myers would have gotten a Tommy John red shirt, but either way. 3 guys who are 5th-year seniors here at this point. I mean, can you imagine this roster without Taylor Broadway right now?
No.
You know, it would be ugly. So they have to fix it. I think you've got to give these other people opportunities and hope they can throw enough strikes and keep avoiding bats. I think you're going to see maybe, you think maybe you see more Wes Burton, a little more Braden Forsyth. He only has 1 appearance so far in SEC games.
And there's one more thing.
Yep.
And I know this is going to, if a coach listens to this, he's going to say, well, that's simple, right? That's easy to say that. Well, this is why you're getting paid. You have to fix Derek Diamond.
He's too talented to not be used.
If your pitching staff is going to be this thin and you're going to try to get by in a regional.
Yeah, Ole Miss only wins a regional if Derek Diamond pitches well at some point.
He's just got to be productive.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to go be an All-American. He doesn't have to go be the future first-round pick or any of that stuff. But you can't get
He's a top 50 prospect who throws 97
You
miles an
needed
hour.
strikeouts yesterday, and from if you trusted him standpoint, he would have been the guy to go to right there. But you've lost him mentally.
And after Friday night, I thought that was a great spot to try to use him on Friday night. You're down 3-2. You obviously don't want to go to Broadway right there. Diamond made a lot of sense. Go see what you got. See if he can get through it. Now, he didn't. Ole Miss, State tacked on. But, yeah, I thought that made a lot of sense, and I think he would have made more sense on Sunday as well. So, I don't know. A couple different things coming out of it. We'll discuss those in a second. First, talk about community mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So we're getting local underwriting and understands your market, a leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford.
Do you need me to okay this?
What is it?
The Twitter thing?
Oh, hell, I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Twitter's watching me like a hawk.
Okay. Go ahead.
Even though I'm not on Twitter. Oh, do you like an authentication code or something? Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's because I signed on from a laptop to the Rebel Grove account.
Okay.
I mean, if you're watching Twitter, it wasn't really me.
Yeah.
Aliens came into my body and
it was all botted up.
Yeah, it was totally. I'm very, very sorry. Defile your platform. Lammon's Fine Jewelry, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for more than 73 years. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. LammonsFineJewelry.com or 662-234-2777. I mean, it makes sense that we would talk about Lammons after we talk about Derek Diamond, right? Think about it. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. A complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles. Great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Also brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. It's going to get warm here very soon. We're 2/3 of the way through April. You want to make sure that air conditioning system is running in tip-top shape. 662-801-1777. They've been providing great HVAC service, professional HVAC service in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area for more than 50 years. And we're brought to you by the College Corner, one-stop Rebel Shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. The largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi.
Podcast also brought to you by Northeast Spark, still going up all over town. I know some places out on Highway 7 South got it. Some places off College Hill now. It's going everywhere. So find out if it is in your area as well and take advantage again. They have the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford Studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband, nespark.com. It's with a C. 662-638-3159. Phone service available, parental controls, network security, and more. So again, call them, find out if they're there, and take advantage of that internet service. Probably worth giving Jack Doherty an extended look. The red shirt that came out of nowhere last week, pitched pretty well in the midweek.
Sure.
The stuff was good, 91, 93. Why not at this point?
Absolutely.
That's the thing. At this point, try whatever you have. There is nothing else that you should be doing right now. Because, look, if they don't have a bullpen, if Diamond is not successful, if they can't get to Broadway, this season's not going to end where they want it to end. Let's just be honest.
Well, yes, going into every weekend okay, well, here's the plan.
They got 21.1 out of their starting pitchers.
Yeah, going into the weekend here's the plan. All right, Hoagland's going to give us an ace outing every Friday night. Nikhazy's going to throw a shutout every Saturday, okay? That's a stupid plan.
At some point, somebody's getting rocked.
Yeah, that's a plan that goes, well, yeah, it makes a lot of sense on paper. I've yet to see a baseball game get played on paper. What happens when Nikhazy has
just an okay day?
It's an okay day or a day where he gets hit. It's happened.
Yeah.
He's damn good. He's the National Player of the Week, and he was awesome.
But he is the epitome of a great college pitcher.
Competes like a you-know-what. But you can't ask that every week. That's not a realistic thing. So what happens if you do have to use Broadway to win a Friday night? I mean, that's not unrealistic, is it?
No.
So, I mean,
Oakland can only go 6 because the pitch count gets up, and you go, no, we got to win today, Broadway. Here's your 3.
Yeah, we're up 3-1. Here, go get them. So he pitches 3 innings. You get the win. Yay.
Now on Saturday,
he's not available on Saturday. So Casey gives you 5 2/3 on Saturday. You've got to go use other people. That's why I keep coming back to this. You have to go fix Derek Diamond. Whether it's between his ears or wherever it is.
It's the obvious one.
You've got to go fix him because he's got to give you innings.
You got to find a role, whatever that role is for him. Yeah, I mean, Leiter got hit this week.
He's got closer stuff.
He does.
Doesn't have a closer's mentality.
No.
But you got to go.
Never been one. They need Diamond's arm right now more than they need his bat.
No, for sure.
The offense is okay. Look, the offense looks like a pretty good offense. It's without his best hitter.
Their second biggest problem other than the bullpen is defense.
They're not good defensively right now.
No, they're not.
They're frankly bad defensively.
Someone tried to say, they're average on defense. Like, no, they're not. No. They're not average. They don't do a lot.
Don't give me a fielding percentage number. I don't care.
No,
the most useless stat.
Pretty good defensively at catcher.
No, he's great. Yeah.
And then other than that, it's
like I said, bench is banged up. He's their best player at 3 positions.
McCants can run balls down,
but he's still learning. The angles are rough at times.
And then the other guys,
Graham and Leatherwood are not elite outfielders.
No, they're okay, but they don't make great throws. You don't have somebody with a hose out in right field that is a game changer that changes. And then, like I said, at first base, he's a statue.
I'm looking now because I am curious. And see, I don't even remember these. They had to come from different positions for the most part. I think Ole Miss only has two outfield assists the entire season. And they're both from Hayden Leatherwood. That's a remarkable stat. 35, 40 games into it, whatever we are.
Yeah, it just tells you a lot.
It allows other teams to press you on the bases, and you give up an extra base.
Well, frankly, if you're strategizing against Ole Miss,
run.
Yeah,
take the chances.
Take the extra base. Let's gamble first to third.
Every single from second base, you're scoring.
Yeah. A ball into the gap, go for 3, because they're going to have to hit a cutoff man. There's just nobody that can make that.
To the point, they don't even really throw to the base very much.
No,
they're
trying to hit cutoff men. You're asking, now you're asking relays to be perfect, and you're running on that.
It's a problem.
Don't have a ton of range in the middle infield. Don't have a ton of range on the left side. Like the shortstop for State made a really nice play in the hole that I'm not sure Ole Miss can make. Forsyth, is that his name?
Yeah,
big time arm.
I think Gonzalez grows into a third baseman. Now I think he grows into a hell of one that hits like a son of a gun. But
I do too. I think he's
a hell of a player.
I think he's an All-American third baseman. Yeah. But I do think he's a third baseman.
It feels like the left side of their infield next year is McCants and Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Depending on where you want to put Justin Bench. Assuming he's back, obviously.
Which would make me right now think about moving Justin Bench to first base. Take some pressure off of him.
It might be the one guy that could handle the immediate move and just figure it out.
Well, you're not asking him to go be a Gold Glove first baseman.
Yeah.
Just go be a serviceable first baseman. And I think he probably could do it.
Because that's kind of that best 9 thing. Now, look, he's your best option in 10 places, but
right.
You got to figure out where you need him right now.
Well, he's hurt right now, so I can't go say, hey, go play center field. That's not fair.
Moving is not.
No, so I'm going to put him someplace where he's not having to move a lot.
Just catch the ball.
Catch the ball. Field the ball. Have a couple of steps to your right.
And he still would have more range than their other options there.
Well, currently there is no range.
Yeah.
And I'm not picking on the kid. I'm just being honest about it.
Everybody I talked to has said they don't even understand how Bench played, that hurts like a mother. That is incredibly, incredibly painful. And that even if you went the needle route, the needle is incredibly painful right there.
Well, that part of your body
it's basically in his tailbone.
Yeah.
And
well, if you've ever tried to run with issues around there, like a glute issue, seriously, a bad hamstring, it's almost impossible.
Some of it is they don't want to make McCants continue to learn new positions that aren't his position right now. He's already swimming, and even none of the outfield spots are the same. You can't go, hey, go play left because you go played center, but you've never done that before either. I mean, it's just different.
He's a natural shortstop.
He's a shortstop, yes.
Yeah.
So it's complicated. You've got to just – McCants hitting. You need him in the lineup. You've got to just put him somewhere and let that be what it is right now. And center field makes the most sense for that. And if Plumlee plays some out there, then you've got a little better range, at least from a running standpoint, in the outfield with those two, and you can kind of put whomever with it. You've got to play Leatherwood every day now. I don't care left, right, what he's hitting against. You just have to play him every day. They need the ceiling in the lineup. He might have a really bad day and might strike out 3 times. He also might hit 2 out of the ballpark.
Well, as he proved over the weekend, every time he steps to the plate,
and they don't have that with Elko.
And he can crush a mistake.
Oh, he
can crush a mistake.
Yeah.
And I don't know that they have that in every spot in the lineup.
So no, he has to play.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
He's playing every single time. He's got to piece it. I mean, look, here's what's happened. They're still okay, but these next 2 weeks are critical in a couple different ways. One, the 2 teams you're around in the West, Arkansas and Mississippi State, have pretty tough schedules the next 2 weeks. So can you make up some ground? You get Carolina, you get Carolina at home, and frankly, Carolina in Oxford in 2 weeks is a golden opportunity for Ole Miss because they need a good series win. Carolina would certainly be that.
Yeah.
And it's away from home. You don't want to go to Columbia and mess with them, but they're not as good on the road. They're very gettable on the road.
Yeah.
That gives Ole Miss a good opportunity in Oxford. And then LSU's 4-11. You just got to beat them. You got to find a way.
You need to sweep them.
You can't lose Saturday or Sunday. If you beat Marceau with Hoagland, great. And Hoagland, it's time for them to win a game with Hoagland on the mound because, frankly, they're screwing around when he's pitched well enough to win most weeks.
2 and 3 on Friday so far.
Come on. But, Marceau's a tough matchup, whatever. Try to win that game, but you can't lose on Saturday and Sunday. Ole Miss has a huge advantage on Saturday and Sunday against LSU. So they've got to win those games. And that gives them a chance. But here's what's happening. Tons of teams are sweeping, getting swept. And the bottom of the league has terrible records. So it's making for gaudy records at the top of the league. So 18-12, that's a pace right now that's like 6th in the league. We never see that. But at the moment, that's where it is. So, Ole Miss has got to find a way. If they're just hosting, they're fine. That's not even really a conversation to worry about or talk about right now. But if we're talking about national seeds, top 8 seeds.
Probably going to go 5-1 these next 2 weekends.
I think you need at least 19 wins total. However, you got to figure out a way to get there. I think you need 19 wins total, and I think you have to beat Carolina because you need that extra resume dot. I think Carolina's a must-win series, and then find a way to 19, however you're getting to 19. Because, right now, you're just, again, Auburn and Alabama is not going to do anything for you from a resume standpoint. They've got the stuff in Arlington that will help. It gets de-emphasized a little bit because it was the first week of the season. It's good. Rather have it than not have it, obviously, but it's not as important. I don't know. They again, and right now, Doug Nikhazy's pitching as well as anybody in the conference. Maybe outside of, I'd say Jack Leiter, but he got banged around a little on Saturday by Tennessee. That was at a time Ole Miss needed it. And I tweeted this. I can't compare it to postseason stuff. That's a different animal. Like Drew in 2009, that's a different level of anything that I've seen from an Ole Miss pitcher. Christian Trent at Lafayette in 2014 is probably number 2 as far as what was at stake and what a guy did. He threw 7 without an earned run in Lafayette in 2014. That was a pretty damn good offense with the Cajuns. Regular season-wise, that was as good as I've seen on Saturday. That crowd, that opponent, that situation, reeling a little bit.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It was
big time.
He energizes his teammates in a way that not everybody does.
Sure.
And that's not a shot at the other pitchers. You are what your personality is.
Sure.
At the end of the day, your job is to get out. It's not to be a cheerleader or a rah-rah guy. But I do think Nikhazy picks up their energy a little bit when he's out there. It's not that they don't believe in Hoagland, but they really believe in Doug when he's on the mound.
And he just comes at people. He's so competitive, and he gets on a roll. And I think he's actually one of those guys that feeds off of a road crowd. Mm-hmm. He probably deep down would rather pitch on the road than pitch at home.
He wins this as a freshman. He pitched really well in Fayetteville in the Super Regional in Game 2 there. Just kind of took them on.
Shut them down on a day that they were
trying to get to Omaha, yeah.
Thought they had it. Win that day, and they go to Omaha. They won the next day, of course, but they didn't win that day.
Yeah. No,
he's really, really good. And that was a big win. That's why I think, and I wrote this in 10 Thoughts, I think yesterday was one of those losses that you stick a pin in and you go, oh, I remember that one. I didn't think Friday night was one of those.
No, yesterday showed showed where the vulnerabilities are in all ways. It showed, hey, look, if this thing doesn't go where you want it to go, this is why. Here are the reasons. Here's the textbook on what could go wrong in those places. And you mentioned 19. You hope that whatever's going on with Derek Diamond, he's Gunnar Hoagland. Gunnar was banged around a little as the freshman. Up here was struggle. It was He had to learn how to pitch. Hoagland is a freshman. I've said this. He had that stat that he did not walk a batter his entire senior year of high school. He only faced 6 3-ball counts. That means 2 things. He has excellent command, and it also means he wasn't challenged.
Right.
He didn't have to pitch. He just threw the ball by everybody, and nobody could hit it, and whatever he played in Florida, and he dominated, and it was what it was.
You're going to get challenged at this level.
That's happened. As a freshman, he starts, hey, I'm just going to throw the ball over the plate here when I'm behind in the count, and suddenly he's ducking because the ball's 110 miles an hour back at his head.
Right.
He had to learn to pitch. He's done that. And I think in some ways Derek is struggling with the mental, the extra things other than just throwing the baseball that goes along with this.
Dare I say he needs to learn to clear the mechanism?
Clear it a little bit, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His mechanism is awfully crammed right now.
You think his is very loud with all the stuff?
I think he's hearing everything. I think he's thinking a lot. He looks like a guy who's thinking a lot.
And you can't think.
Well, the example was the kid yesterday for State. He's cruising through 2 2/3. And then he gives up a walk. Gonzalez has a great at-bat. And he starts panicking. And Ole Miss knocked him out of that inning. And you could see him.
Once it went, it was gone.
Well, he bounced a 3-1 full count pitch.
Fastball.
He bounced it.
Fastball.
He's thinking. Pitchers can't think like that. You got to have a plan. See the target. Throw to the target. Let's go. Pitch. You got to stay calm. You got to be McCasey, lighter, and that's easier said than done. That's why they're all going to make a lot of money. Yeah. But it's you can get shook, and so it's Mike Bianco's job. It's Carl Lafferty's job to get him unshook. Mm-hmm. That's bottom line.
Whatever that means.
I mean, you got to go in and fix him. That's why you get paid what you get paid. You got to fix it now. And if you don't, you won't have enough. That's the bottom line. To me, we can talk about all these other names and stuff. If you don't fix him, you don't
think he's the key.
I think he is absolutely the key. Because Broadway is going to give you 1 outing a weekend. That's what you can bank on. You might get part of a second outing.
Sure.
You don't. If you're telling me about Mallets and about all these other cats that I've watched, okay, maybe, but the odds are you really can't count on them. I mean, the body of work says you can't really count on them. Maybe they'll give you something, and you're certainly going to have to ask for it. Like I'd let the Doherty kid see what I could get, but you're fishing right now.
It's a little Hail Mary to that. I mean, he was a kid that was redshirting 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
he's improved. Credit to him. All those things.
But it's still kind of 3rd and 17, and there aren't just a lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 17.
Yeah, I mean, if Jack Doherty ends up being their number 2 bullpen arm, then we got one hell of a story to cover the rest of the next. So,
and that's great if he does. But if you're telling me, hey, you got to fix somebody. I mean, if I'm in a meeting today, one of the things we got to figure this out right now because you're going to need him. If you're telling me that Ole Miss wins a regional, I'm telling you that he played a role in it.
You throw him against Little Rock just for some confidence tomorrow.
Sure,
get him back out there.
Couple innings. I don't give a damn about winning the Little Rock game.
You lose it doesn't matter.
It just doesn't matter. I've got to find arms, and I got to figure out what I'm doing, who can throw strikes, stuff like that. That's what I'm focused on if I'm them. And I might move some people around because I don't play bench probably against Little Rock.
He needs a day off tomorrow.
I mean, there's no reason to press my luck there. And so I'm figuring out what I can do in different spots. But yeah, I do think Diamond's critical. I don't see how you can analyze it and come back with, okay, well, he's going to not be able to give you anything. Okay, well, then you don't have enough.
You got to dance with the ones that.
Yeah, unless your strategy in a regional is, okay, so here's what we're going to do. Hoagland's going to go 9 on Friday and we're going to win. And then Casey's going to go 9 on Friday and we're going to win. And then we're going to get to Sunday and we're going to play some beat-up team.
McDaniel and Broadway are going to do that.
And they'll just figure it out. Okay, I mean, that's cool. And
that would have worked in 19, but that's about the only time that would have worked.
Well, that's like saying, okay, I'm going to lose 30 pounds, and here's how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to eat at all, and I'm going to go run 15 miles a day. On paper, it's a great plan. Yeah. What happens the first time you get hungry?
Yeah.
Which is coming the next day.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Go to the events page, see what all is going on locally. The double-decker bus tours return this weekend, Friday, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. They're in front of Visit Oxford on the Oxford Square. You can reserve those times and a lot of different things. The pop-up Oxford Spring Edition going on this weekend. Kind of a mini version of double-decker in different ways. You got art vendors and much, much more. The return of South Talks, Spring Documentary Showcase this weekend. And much more. So take advantage of those things. Again, find out more details. Visit oxfordms.com/events.
The podcast also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in more than 20 states. They've got advisors in multiple states as well. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and so much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So get in touch with them at pintrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee. We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. He's a part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits simply not available to other travelers. All you got to do is get in touch with him. If you're thinking about traveling this summer, you're thinking about doing something at the holidays, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Give him some parameters. Give him a budget. He's going to give you options that you're not going to find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or Jay Edwards at regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. Also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. And when you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. You want to find out more about OUB, you can go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And I've got a message board post up at Rebel Grove where I'm taking questions for my mailbag. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
Let's see. Around the league a little bit, Vanderbilt got back on the winning side of things, beating Tennessee 2 of 3. Vols did get one, and they're in really good shape for a national seed right now. The RPI is good. They got a very easy schedule the next couple weeks. They're playing pretty good baseball. They're new. They haven't been good in a while. So Tennessee looking pretty good there. Obviously Arkansas after taking care of Texas A&M as well over the weekend. But yeah, Ole Miss is you got to get back on the winning train a little bit. 'Cause, we talk about what you need to do, what you don't need to do. It's not in a vacuum. You're competing against other teams.
Sure.
And when things look like what they look like right now, it's 9-6, but it's kind of the old 8-7 a little bit. Like they're in a vacuum, it's a hell of a midway point record. You're on pace for 18-12. You're fine, and you're through the hard part of your schedule. But when you look around and the other teams that are 9-6 or better, you gotta get on the horse a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
As they move forward. So, Tim Corbin was pissed over the weekend. What's funny about that?
See, I don't think he was pissed.
No, that's kind of my point. So,
okay.
I saw several people tweeting and quote tweeting that completely misinterpreted his quotes. Like somebody called him salty. Somebody was saying that he was complaining that Tennessee had fans. It's like no. He was talking to his university after the game.
So I'll give some background here.
Yeah.
A week ago, Tim Corbin, per sources, intended to talk on his, I guess, preview press conference. He was going to really compliment Ole Miss.
This is after he played Georgia. This
was for the environment that was at Swayze when Ole Miss entertained Arkansas a couple weeks ago. He obviously had seen some of the highlights. He'd seen the beer shower tweet on the second game Saturday. He'd seen the atmosphere throughout the weekend.
Yeah.
And look, I know Tim Corbin's a Vanderbilt coach, and people have a tendency to think that coaches view everything through the prism of their program, and for the most part, that's typically true. But he also is a guy that's been doing college baseball for a while. He wants the sport to grow. He knows people at other sports. I'm sure he wants to kick Ole Miss's ass, but at the same time, he saw that environment when, hey, that's awesome. Specifically, one of the things that I was told he wanted to say, because he genuinely felt, was that in this sport, you talk a lot about the student athletes, doing what's best for the student athletes. Okay, put your red and blue glasses away, or if you're an Arkansas fan, your red and white glasses away, and look at that series. That's a series that the kids who played for those two teams will talk about for a long time. It was electric. It was fun for the Ole Miss kids. It was fun for the Arkansas kids. You know, you go through fall ball in the fall where there's a couple hundred people at a couple scrimmages maybe. But for the most part, you're just playing baseball in an empty stadium. And then you go through an off-season program, and you convene in January to get started, and it's cold as hell. And someone hits a fastball off the knob, and you feel it for a week in your hands. And suddenly you get to a weekend like that one, whether you're playing for Ole Miss or Arkansas, or this last weekend, whether you're playing for Ole Miss or Mississippi State. And at some point in that weekend, you have to say out loud to yourself, I'm thinking, man, this is what I came to an SEC school for. This is what I came to Ole Miss for. This is what I came to Arkansas for. This is what I signed with Mississippi State for. And all Corbin was saying is, hey, look at them. They're doing it. This is great. You want to grow the sport? If college baseball ever wants to be a television sport, an event sport, the environments that you saw in Oxford last week and in Mississippi State over the weekend, that is what you have to begin to replicate all over the country. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. Those are phenomenal. If you're just sitting at home and you're flipping on Sunday and you're like, whoa, look at that. Okay.
Especially right now.
Yeah, kind of cool. And that's what he was saying. I mean, so many people, when he was complimenting what Tennessee did. Now, I watched some of the Tennessee-Vanderbilt series. I actually flipped to it on my computer the other day, and they had a nice crowd in Knoxville. It was loud. They were rowdy. They were excited. They're excited about their program. The coach has done a really good job there. We talked about it. And Vanderbilt's a rival, and Vanderbilt comes in with this gaudy ranking and stuff, and it was a big-time atmosphere there. And Corbin looks at his program where they're being so politically correct and all that stuff, and he's frustrated. But his frustration, I'm telling you, because I know this from talking to people who have talked to him, his frustration goes much, much, much deeper than a competitive disadvantage for his program.
No, yeah, it had nothing to do. Like, that was not.
Just
whatever.
Wasn't any of it.
Wait, come on, let's not act. I mean, Tennessee wasn't some raucous environment his players had never seen before.
Of course not. His players want raucous environments.
Yeah.
I guarantee you his players watched the Ole Miss Arkansas series and went, can't wait. Can't wait. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, we'll be there in a few weeks. Great.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah.
These are young people. They want to have fun. They like the fans in the outfield yelling at them. It's better than when you play Murray State on a Tuesday night in 22-degree weather, and I'm being facetious here a little bit, and there's nobody at the stadium, and you're freezing, and you just want to go. That's the dues paying. The Saturday afternoon in Swayze or at Duty Noble or Baum or wherever, that's Alex Box. That's what you play for. That's why you passed up the professional money 2 years earlier to go play college ball. You signed up for that moment, for that environment. That environment's fun. That's what he was saying, was his point about the Ole Miss Arkansas series that he told a friend was, when this is over, years from now, the kids on that team will talk about that series. Hey, man, it was the first year back from COVID, and that place was packed. They just opened it up, and the fans are everywhere, and it was rowdy, and it was fun, and it was crazy, and the beer showers. And I guarantee you the Arkansas kids got on the bus at some point Saturday and went, did you see the beer shower out there? I mean, you know they did.
Kids.
They're kids. Did you see that?
They're not living and dying on every game.
No. I mean, I guarantee you they talked about the beer shower. That was cool, man. Did you see that? Did Probably the one girl. They probably noticed.
Where it was
some
like,
girl.
get them. Like Plumlee was messing with the state student side or the right field area.
Of course,
like screwing with them. They're God knows what he's hearing, and
That's why he wanted to play baseball.
Yeah,
he wanted to play baseball because he wants to do that.
Yeah, makes the catch and eyes them a little bit.
Yeah,
and,
it's fun.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's Texas A&M that had the video of the left field bleachers, and they're yelling at the left fielder. I don't know what team he was playing, but they're asking him questions. Hey, right hand this, left hand this.
Oh, that's funny. And he's playing along.
Yeah. And so, they're like, hey, left hand boobs, right hand butt. And you see him go with his right hand. And they all cheer. That's fun. I mean, they're kids. That's what they want. They get the sterile.
It's not overly serious.
They get the sterile atmosphere in practice. And that was what Corbin was saying is, hey, look, this is an environment that we should be looking at and going, yep, let's do it. Not do this thing where we're not doing it. And who ends up kind of paying the price for that? It's really the student athletes.
That is going to be two really electric days. You've got Gunnar Hogle and Kumar Rocker on Friday and Doug Nikhazy, Jack Leiter on Saturday.
Of course.
Scouts just lining
the radar guns will just be,
like jumping up.
Yeah.
I get asked the question a lot, what Nikhazy's pro value is. I think he's a sandwich second-round pick is my guess on what Doug ends up getting taken. Something like that.
Probably.
I don't think he's a first-rounder unless one team just really, really, really likes him. And when I say that, I mean the top 32 picks.
I've started watching his stuff a little more.
Yeah.
I think he has middle-of-the-rotation stuff as a left-hander who really competes, who understands the game.
Eats some innings.
Yeah. Look, I don't know that he's top-of-the-rotation stuff.
No, I mean, he's not the pro prospect Gunnar Hoagland is.
But, damn, he competes.
I mean, just from day one.
And that's value. In a long season, he's that guy. I don't know that he looks like the type that would ever
mail a couple in.
Yeah, June the 11th. Hey, it's getaway day in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think he shows up ready to go.
I mean, he has value. I mean, he's going to be taken on the first whatever. I mean,
his real value. You don't throw one-hit shutouts in the SEC by accident. His stuff actually looks to me like it's actually getting better.
His SEC ERA right now is .70. 0.70.
Look, you could make the argument that outside of Leiter, he's the best pitcher in the league.
I mean, I think he probably
is. That's what and that
Yeah.
includes Rocker.
Yeah. If I had to win one baseball game, I'm taking Leiter first, and I'm at least considering Doug Nikhazy second.
Well, based on this season, I'm taking Nikhazy second.
Yeah.
Because both of those cats now, that's the matchup that's going to be fun.
It's Saturday.
Yeah, and the Friday matchup has a lot of the pro.
That's the pro game.
The pro scouts will be they'll be locked.
But Saturday's the college game.
Yeah, Saturday's
because those two kids will be pretty amped up, and
they'll be a little extra amped up going against each other.
They'll chirp a little.
The whole deal. Oh yeah. There'll be some intensity on that mound. That mound will be.
Those two teams seem to want to fight one another. It might be something going on that Saturday. Vanderbilt and Ole Miss can't seem to play a full weekend without wanting to fight at some point during the three games.
That's the day there's going to be some real intensity on the mound. Yeah. That mound's going to drip with intensity by the time those two are finished. I
still, fan-wise, I get it, and they're 100% right, but it still was cracking me up yesterday. Like, going into Friday, they're going, my God, for both these teams, the players, it is the number one rivalry. Like, no, it's not. No, it's just not. Ole Miss has, no kids from Mississippi. Like, the kid from Cali doesn't, whatever. No. Okay, sure.
Well, I get why.
And that's not always bad.
Right, because Ole Miss is, 3-16 now in the last 19 or something,
yeah.
and it's a real number.
It's a real number.
And it's a number that at some point you have to talk about and you have to think about. I
have no answer.
I don't know enough about it to dive into that right now. But you can't.
Mike beat them more than he lost to them for such a long time that I'm having a hard time just going, it is the way he presents it. I just can't get there.
Yeah, I'd have to go study it.
State's been good. And they've won baseball games. And Jake Mangum, for God's sake, willed them to wins.
He did. And he was there for 7 years.
Well, even yesterday, the media is texting Mangum and writing stories on it. And it's oh, good God. He had no impact on this game. He sent a text to Luke Hancock. Okay, great. That's what Luke Hancock was thinking about in the 8th. Is Jake said we can't lose today. Give me a break.
Stop. It's And I think one of the reasons it comes across this way is because the two media entities that cover them and that cover Ole Miss are so totally different. And I think fans see that and it clouds opinion a little bit.
They're very invested.
I don't believe that Chris Lemonis is insane enough to go into one random weekend and go, this is make or break, boys.
Oh, God, no.
I mean, I just don't think Lemonis is that big of an idiot.
I'll tell you part of it, and this is why it looks worse for Mike too, it would work if either team had a gaudy record against the other. This would point out to the side that was losing, is they manage so differently that contrast when the win-loss gets carried away makes the other coach look worse than they even are. Because Mike's very old school. He doesn't shift. We see how he treats pitching staffs. We talked about that a lot today. And Lemonis is very, very veteran, very modern. I mean, he shifts maybe too much. He does a lot of stuff.
And frankly, and this is going to sound like I'm taking up for Mike, I'm not at all.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. Lemonis has a really quick hook.
Yeah.
Like, I think he would have been contemplating getting McDaniel in the second inning yesterday.
And going to Broadway right then.
And that probably would not have been a great strategy.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of complicated. But
players win games.
Yes.
Give me the talent and I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Saturday, it didn't matter what anybody was doing because one team had Doug Nikhazy and one team didn't.
And that being said, I'll say what we said at the beginning before we change the subject. I still believe it's a very valid criticism, and it's something Mike should address. If you were willing to go to Broadway with 2 outs in the 6th,
sure, why
were you not willing to go to him with 1 out in the 6th?
100%.
I think that's more than fair.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's, I think, fair to say that decision cost them a baseball game.
Brian says, do y'all think y'all could consume 4 ounces of wild turkey every hour for 16 hours? God, no.
No.
Not even, hold on, a bottle has what, 26 ounces? Is that right?
I don't know.
750 milliliters. But
4 ounces is what? That's 4
basically
shots?
2 doubles.
2 doubles. Yeah, so 4 shots. No.
No. You could do it.
2 hours, 3 hours.
3 was, after that, you're getting pretty sloppy.
For 16 hours? God, no. I'd be worried about my blood alcohol level.
Yeah, 25.3 ounces. Okay, I knew it was somewhere around there.
So an entire bottle.
Because I knew it was around 26 drinks as a bottle of bourbon.
It's 4 times 6. Wait a minute. 4 times 16.
That's 64 there, Chief.
So you're talking about 2 bottles of, no.
More than 2 bottles.
Yeah, 2.5 bottles. No way.
Yeah, God, no.
Chad, I know this is a frustrating thing for you. There was no media yesterday. There was no
Even
Zoom call.
the people in the stadium did not have a media.
There was no Zoom call. There's no in-person media because of COVID. There's 13,000 people in the stadium, but nobody can talk to the coaches in person because they'll infect them and kill them with COVID. They'll die. It's just not allowed. The SEC says, God, no, everyone will die. So there's none of that. Stadium, as gorgeous as it is, and it is,
has a Wi-Fi issue.
There is no Wi-Fi in the visitor thing. So all that Chase or anyone else, including the reporters who went over and put their mask on and masked up, God bless them, for 3.5 hours on Sunday afternoon, all they got was what was on the radio.
Yeah.
So if you want to make fun of David Kellum and Brad Henderson for not asking more pointed questions.
I'll be honest here, though. Given the context of what post-game radio interviews are, he's never going to be whatever. I'll give Brad credit. He at least mentioned the 6th inning and allowed Mike to play off of it.
Right.
Because he basically was like, hey, Drew was really good, made it about Drew, and then goes, we just couldn't seem to get out of the 6th inning or something. Like, gave Mike an opening to say something. And, credit there, because especially after a loss, Mike's pissed off. It had been really easy to never even mention it and talk about Drew and talk about Hayden Leatherwood and go, hey, Little Rock on Tuesday, glad to see everybody there, blah, 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 blah.
And I'm not picking on Chet here because I like Chet. Chet doesn't like me, but that's okay. We're not fans. We don't ask fanboy questions in the middle of a season. Hey, you're now 3-19 against Mississippi State. I'm kind of pissed off. You could ask Mike about, hey, you're 3-19 against Mississippi State, and I think it's a fair question. But when he doesn't give you the answer that you want, and he won't, He's going to give you some semblance, Chase, correct me if I'm wrong, of it's baseball.
He's going to give you whatever his reasoning was, and at the end of the day, that's the end of the story.
That's the end of it. So, I
mean, whether it's, hey, we put in the guys that had fewer walks per 9 innings. Well, I mean, you can hate the reasoning, but once the reasoning's out there, okay. I mean, great. We can all interpret it.
But this outlet that you're talking to right here, we do ask questions. We just don't ask fanboy questions. We don't ask emotional questions.
All right. So let's see. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. You can find out more at 662-236-2222. You can stop in and check out MedSync, where they fill your prescriptions the same day each month, whether it be a delivery or a pickup there in the pharmacy. You get everything you need when you need it with one trip. And also with Right Way Meds, they individually package your medication for those who need it. In the right circumstances, that could save lives. So all the different things that are offered there with G&M, 662-236-2222.
Let's see. We're also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth. Their firm practices a wider range of law, DUI defense to car wrecks, representing government entities. Bain, Moss & Bowen is the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. That experience is unmatched in that regard, and you can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth, or by calling them at 662-287-1620. We're also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. It's your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. Premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail. They've also got the Hallmark cargo trailers, one of the most quality cargo trailers on the market today. Perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camp, and more. They have spare tires and wheels starting at just $100. They have a full-service shop also. They can repair all types of trailers. 601-932-9798, or check them out at alphaofms.com. And we're brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. Blue Delta Jeans makes the best-fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Don't forget this Friday, they'll have Blue Delta Blues Alley on Friday night at 4 in the afternoon, I guess I should say. Joe Austin and the Tallahassees will play from 4 to 6. 6 to 8, it will be Grammy Award-nominated Jimmy Duck Holmes, the proprietor of Blue Front Cafe. It's the oldest surviving juke joint in Mississippi. And then on Saturday from 2 to 6, Joe Austin and the Tallahassees will be back for an afternoon of music. So come by the Blue Delta studio, have a good time celebrating Oxford and Rebel Grove. Listeners can redeem 10% by mentioning Rebel Grove in the Oxford studio. And we're brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. This is the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. It's 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. And we're brought to you by Joey Erickson, Heron Gear Chevrolet. Let him help you find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevy vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles. 662-571-2367. Tell him what you're looking for. Stop by 1685 High Street in Jackson to test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting. Let him earn your business. With any purchased vehicle, just mention the Oxford Exxon Podcast or the Soft Verbal Podcast. Get a $50 gas card. He's still going. The defense closing statement.
That should be imminently, right? Not imminently.
Yeah, it should be imminent.
IMMINENTLY.
That's a good question.
It should be.
Because imminent would mean like right now dangerous.
Yeah. Like in the near future. Yeah.
Right.
Like soon. Right?
I think.
We think we caught a typo on headline news. I don't know. Sorry.
We saw football scrimmage. Any takeaway from? Oh, you got something else?
I was gonna do that tomorrow. We're just gonna. We'll need all the content. We got Lane tomorrow anyway. I'm gonna make tomorrow a football show.
Good point.
Because this is interesting. Stays with this. You will not agree with him.
Okay.
ESPN Plus, seeing this out this morning, they redid their top 100 MLB draft rankings, Jack Leiter not at the top.
Who is?
You're the Pirates GM. Could you do it? Could you take a high school shortstop, number one?
No.
Couldn't do it?
Not what I see out of Leiter.
Number one, Jordan Lawler, shortstop, Jesuit High School out of Texas. Vanderbilt commit. I know we're all blown away. Lawler offers a wide base of exciting tools. 6'2" shortstop with 5 above-average tools, speed, long track record of hitting with wood bats against strong pitching. Pick your favorite all-star shortstop, and there's probably at least one thing Lawler does similar to him this spring. There's been some swing and miss to his game, and he's a little old for his class, which hurts him empirically in draft models. He's still seen as a top prospect in this class by a bit, even admits Jack Leiter steamrolling the SEC.
Okay. Not me. I know what I'm doing with my card.
If you're the number 2 pick and they go Lawler, you're running and throwing that thing.
Assuming that my doctor people look
you
at
take
him
shortstop over Rocker?
Yeah. I mean, I do.
There's actually another shortstop, too. He has Leiter at 2, obviously.
Okay.
And he says Pittsburgh at 1-1 seems inclined to chase upside and show patience in a longer full reset-style rebuild. So Leiter's shorter timetable doesn't perfectly fit that plan, but neither does Ke'Bryan Hayes, already being a good for the Pirates in the big leagues. So that's more of a tiebreaker than anything else. They have Marcelo Meyer, a shortstop from Eastlake High School in California, number 3 overall. Kumar at number 4. Gunnar Hoagland, number 5 overall right now. Easing up the list.
I can see it.
Hoagland was a mid-first-round prospect entering the spring, then came out firing 93 to 96 early in starts with a scouting card littered with 55s and 60s. His 4 pitches all grayed out at 55, so that's why he isn't right on Leiter's tail, but he's got a good shot to be first to the big leagues in this class. And his quality is good stuff, great feel, great numbers in the SEC, and a long track record of health. Clean delivery and arm action seem to be appreciated similarly by every team, regardless of its evaluative leanings.
Who's got the 5th pick?
I don't know. I'll look at that in a minute, but I have no clue. Just seeing anybody else of note here as I'm kind of going through.
That doesn't surprise me.
The problem for Ole Miss is here. Number 10 overall, Jackson Jobe, right-handed pitcher, Ole Miss commit out of Heritage Hall, Oklahoma.
Well, that would be the end of that.
That's a little too high for anybody's liking right there at number 10. Jobe was high, but not necessarily that high. And then now I looked up and I went, hey, that's probably not good.
It's the part of college baseball that is the unpredictable part, is that you want to recruit well, but you don't want to recruit too well.
Yeah. The worst year Ole Miss ever had is when they had 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
That was a problem with Caccini, Trahan, and Hensley. Jobe was right behind Painter off of the summer, but was the smaller, 6'1" or so, more athletic, a real prospect position player type with insane spin rates, over 3,000 RPM on his breaking ball. He has come out even stronger this spring with some scouts hanging 65 or 70 grades on all 3 pitches, with only the rightful stigma risk profile of a prep righty as a negative to consider. That's not a good report for the Rebels there.
No.
You never want to see 65 or by it's 70 on the profile there. That's a 2080 scale, by the way, for anybody who's not sure what we're talking about.
They are petrified of prep right-handers.
They're just a dime a dozen.
Because there's so many kids who throw super hard.
Yeah, they all throw hard. That's not. Hey, he's a right-hander throwing 94. Yeah, there's 7,000 of them in Texas. Great, awesome. So whatever. Let's see. Looking through it real quick.
Literally, you could go to a Houston tournament and just see 40 kids throwing 93, 94, 95.
Oh, you would? No, I mean 100%. That's 100% what you would see. A lot of LSU kids, obviously. Jaden Hill's still at 21. He was like 6.
He's a potential steal for somebody. It's also, you don't know.
Kylie says, I'd expect a bonus pick for around this area, around $3 million, but likely selected with a team's 2nd pick. So has him slotted here from a money standpoint, but thinks he's probably taken 2nd overall.
Still, world's of talent.
Which means someone will pay their 8th, 9th, and 10th round picks a Snickers bar to save some cash.
Sure.
Pay Jaden Hill.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that works. Let's see. Anybody else?
A king-size Snickers, but a Snickers nonetheless.
Tommy Mace at Florida, 25 overall. He was excellent against Ole Miss earlier this
Yeah, he was good.
He was great. The second baseman at Alabama you like?
Yeah.
32nd overall. 36th overall.
Look at me.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
Yeah, 36th overall.
He's a good player. I like him.
Will Bednar at Mississippi State, who Nikhazy beat on Saturday. He's 40 overall. on this list.
Yeah.
Good player.
He's fine.
Braden Montgomery, Ole Miss commit from Madison Central. He is a right fielder. Ole Miss needs a – oh, I'm sorry, never mind. He's not an Ole Miss commit. He is from Mississippi. Stanford commit, 48 overall. My fault there. I'm reading more than thinking.
You were about to get people excited.
I was. Well, not really. 48 overall.
Because he's gone
pro
at
anyway.
48, yeah.
Well, I mean, look, he probably can't even get into Stanford. So, I mean, they'll probably call him next week and says, never mind. I don't see how the coach didn't quit. The hell with it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Because
you're calling your agent at that point going, get me out of here. I don't have an agent. I need to hire an agent and get me out of here.
I'm losing my mind. Arkansas commit 66 and 67, 2 in a row there for the and that's getting into the maybe area.
You're
starting to sort of do whatever you're doing there. Christian McLeod at Mississippi State, 74. A lot of Vanderbilt commits on this list. No, we're all blown away. Christian Franklin at Arkansas, 86.
He's a good player.
Doug Nikhazy, 91. So that would be...
Well, that'd be a value pick right there. Goodness gracious.
Nikhazy at the bottom of the top 100, you'd be more than happy to take that shot.
Oh, if you have the 91st pick in the draft and he's there...
Yeah, that's an easy one.
That's a happy room for a few minutes.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I was thinking too. So, nonetheless, there's your top 100. So Gunnar Hoagland right now 5 on the list for that one. The Baltimore Orioles had the 5th pick.
Mark asked the question to someone who doesn't know a ton about college baseball: is Tennessee smoke and mirrors? Are they good? No, they're good. They're not smoke and mirrors. I think they proved this weekend, even losing 2 out of 3, that they're good.
I wouldn't pick them to go to Omaha, but with the right draw, they could easily be in Omaha.
Yeah, they're not an elite team, but they are a good team. They're not smoking.
Position wise, they're really good. Yeah, I love their makeup off the mound a ton.
That guy's done a really good job.
I mean, just think had he had a little more luck and could have had a little bit of age difference and kept Garrett Crochet for another year. I mean, they would have been cooking with gas there at that point for the Vols. No, they're good. Sean Watson has filed responses to 22 of the lawsuits I see here. And the number 1 player in America has committed to the Gonzaga Bulldogs. So
saw that.
Gonzaga has started compiling top 5 talent to go with the rest of what they've been able to do here over the last decade or so. They're not going away. Well, that's for dang sure. He's going to get one. I don't know when, but he's going to get one.
Yeah, have a shot next year.
Every year. Yeah. So Alex Smith retiring, not a surprise there at all. Go play with your kids.
That makes me feel good.
Good comeback story. Great comeback story.
He came back and proved to himself that he could come back from basically a catastrophic injury.
Made the playoffs.
But yeah, every time I'd watch him, I'd just cringe. Go be a dad and a husband. And
okay, the other thing too, we're going to close here. This happened a few days ago, but we haven't really talked. Well, we haven't talked about it. I don't know if we've really been on air. How drunk did the guy have to be in a public place and intentionally take a swing at Aaron Donald?
Yeah.
Your faculties would have to be so...
You would have had to take the 4 ounces of wild turkey every hour for 16 hours.
I mean, at what point in your mind do you go, this could end well, no matter who you are? At what point does this go, yeah, let's take our chances here?
Well, you're talking to the wrong person.
Yes, sir, Mr. Donald. Where would you like me to go?
I mean...
You move me wherever.
I'm the last person on earth that would pick a fight with really anyone. Because I just always assume in any scenario, what goes through my mind, what if this guy's like trained in martial arts or something? Yeah. I mean, what am I doing?
Or has a weapon.
Yeah.
That'd be a problem too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saw it and I went, okay, screw loose minimum. Then whatever else.
Look at that. Even if you don't know that's Aaron Donald, look at the guy. What would make you think that? What are you going to do? You going to take him down?
I got nothing. I mean, seriously. It makes for a bad pod because I have absolutely
idiotic.
Nothing. So, anyway. All right. Plenty of football tomorrow on the show. We watch practice. We get Lane Kiffin tomorrow. He's throwing out the first pitch on Saturday against LSU.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, plenty of stuff.
Promising a big party on Saturday. I'm curious to know what that means.
So, anyway. All right. Enjoyed the stream. Thanks for the comments and the questions there. Hope everybody has a wonderful day with the gorgeous weather.